decentralized.
Beautiful night, lovely chemtrail, and something's going on over here at the park. I was gonna go over here and walk around the park, but something's going on, I don't know. Police are surrounding the house. They arrested somebody. I don't really know what's going on, so I'm just gonna walk this way and see if I can find a nice place to walk. So if you watched my last video, you know that I'm not gonna be in the studio for a little bit, so I'm over here doing some things I'd rather not talk about. Okay, so update from the neighbors. I don't know if you guys heard it. There's a shooting. There was somebody who got arrested earlier. I guess he was a shooter. That's just my guess. I don't really know what's going on. Maybe he was the person who got shot. Hopefully he's not. But you know, stuff happens. But they're starting to clear out now. The stuff is still going on behind me. But anyways, these crypto walks have been pretty crazy lately. Some pretty crazy things been happening on these walks. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is an investment that is going to be, in my opinion, one of the next big things, if not the next big thing. Like, super crazy things are going to be happening in this new market that's going to be emerging, and there's going to be a couple of reasons why, and I will be talking about this subject more on this channel going forward, because it is something that I'm going to be adding heavily into my investment strategy, and that is carbon credits and the carbon market. So there go Brandon right there, my mentee, flying his little baby plane. No, I'm just playing, but shout out to Brandon getting his pilot's license, working on it. You know what I'm saying? Guy stays up in his game and learning new things. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about, and hopefully up everybody's game who watches my channel, is for everybody to get on this carbon credit market and carbon sequestration, carbon net zero, carbon, all these. So let's just talk about why the carbon market, right? Well, of course, climate is a big deal. Now, depending on who you talk to, you might think this whole climate thing is a hoax. I personally don't think it's a hoax. I personally think it is a mixture of a couple things going on that's adding to this issue that we have with our climate, where they say, look, if we don't change our act, we're gonna destroy our own earth. You know, brings me to what those things are in the sky. We don't know what the hell those are doing. To destroy our own earth if we don't get our act together and act right when it comes to this carbon, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to these emissions. So there's net zero emissions, which is basically like zero, none. Your company is net zero emissions. You guys do things in a different way. You use all solar. You got a solar building. You do everything you know in the way that y'all add no carbon footprint. Now, this is the ideal for the world, right? If we had our companies just not emitting at all. So if you're a regular investor, you're into stocks and stuff outside of cryptos, or even in cryptos, getting into things that are starting off as net zero, when you're looking at startups and stuff like that, is going to be a huge market. Two reasons: we don't want to kill ourselves, and we don't want to kill our earth that we love so much, this beautiful planet. And then two, the government is going to require it. So that's by 2050. There's all these pledges and stuff going on for people to have net zero emissions. Now by 2030, there's pledges for a lot of the major companies and a lot of the major everybody who's emitting right now to have not net zero, but to be carbon neutral. Now, carbon neutral is using carbon offsetting in order to offset your carbon footprint. Now, people can already do stuff like this. Like if you get on a flight and they got like a program, you can buy some carbon credits to offset your footprint, right? And all that is investing into companies that either are net zero, like what they're doing is buying carbon credits from, you know, let me back up a little bit because there's a whole lot to explain, and if you never heard of this before, I don't want to get it wrong for you. So there's a bunch of different ways that carbon credits are actually created, and one of the main ways carbon sequestration, hope I'm saying it right, is where farmers do their farming a little bit different, to where they store carbon in the ground, and they get carbon out of the atmosphere that way. And it's something that is, in my opinion, going to be a pretty nice thing for farmers, because as we want to get the price of food down, farmers are losing money. Of course, farmers want each potato to cost $10, right? So they can make bank, but we got to be reasonable about it. So they can just do their farming in a little bit of different way, earn carbon credits, and sell them on the carbon market to these companies who are required to become, at least carbon neutral by 2030. I'm not sure if the United States has adopted this idea yet, but there's companies who are adopting this idea themselves because the population is becoming more carbon conscious and more environmentally conscious. So this, as you can see, is going to be huge. Sooner or later, the United States is going to mandate something like this. And if you think of companies like all of the oil companies who are going to have to offset a ton of emissions to be neutral. Now, I saw an interview. I'm not sure. Hold on, I'm getting a call. So I was watching this interview, and I'm not sure how accurate the numbers are, but they say if just Shell and I believe Chevron tried to offset all of their emissions, then it would eat up the carbon emission markets just with those two companies. It would eat up the carbon emission market with just two companies. Now let's get into these two cryptos. I'm going to explain more about carbon credits, net zero, the project that I'm getting involved with that's doing this. Don't worry, I'm not going to show you guys. This is just something that I see as a huge opportunity, and something that I'm pretty passionate about, because hey, let's save the world. Let's say, you know what I'm saying? So there's two tokens who are before I get into those tokens, I explained a little bit about how the carbon credits work. And what you want to do if you're a company who emits carbon, you want to try to get your hands on some carbon credits so you can offset your emissions. You emit 1 ton of CO2, you buy 1 CO2 carbon credit from, let's say, a farmer who switches up his farming to a different method. So you're kind of just investing in people who are, doing things in a more environmentally friendly way. If you're in business or anything like that, there's going to be a ton of government bonds for this type of stuff, and that's just a different story for a different day. If you want to talk privately with me about that, hop into my Telegram group and we can talk in more details about anything that you guys want to talk about. You guys could always reach me there in the Telegram group. But there's two tokens who are getting, oh wait, I got to get back to the main point. With all this carbon trading and carbon stuff going on, there's not even a real market for it yet, right? Like, this is crypto before we had the major exchanges. You know what I'm saying? We don't have people in places where people could just go, make sure the carbon credits are real, make sure they haven't been sold already, make sure the carbon is, let's just say, still in the ground, or make sure it hasn't been used, make sure, because if somebody gets this credit, let's say they use it and then they just sell it to somebody else, that's not getting the carbon out of the air. That's just recycling. And people, there's always bad actors in the space. It happened before with the Kyoto Protocol, but that's a different story for a different day. We'll get into that later. So there's not even a market for this type of stuff yet. So here comes the big old beautiful blockchain. Now let's talk about two cryptos. as I start to head back that way, because I see that the police are gone. So let's talk about two cryptos getting into this market. And I'm not going to say ClimaDAO because that's the obvious one. And of course, I've already talked about Clima on this channel before, but there's two other ones that I'm really interested in, and actually Clima uses one of these. So the first one that I want to talk to you guys about is Nori, N-O-R-Y. And what Nori is they are a marketplace for carbon credits, and they want to make it where you can have verifiable, reliable carbon credit market to make sure that the carbon credits are legit. So, you know, pretty big deal, stuff like that. And then there is Dovu. Now, I'm over here walking in the dirt. Let me get out here, out the dirt real quick. Now, Dovu is a token that I really like. And sorry if it's too dark over here as a view of what's going on. Now, Dovu is a token that I'm adding to the low cap gem list, so I encourage everyone to go and check out the Dovu token. Dovu and Nori, N-R-E, are creating, you know, carbon marketplaces. Now, there's a couple of verification methods that people use right now, like certified verification methods to certify, like, to make sure the carbon credits are legit and stuff like that. One of them is called Vera, but Nori wants to be like Vera. And what Vera does is they just, like I just said, they verify that the carbon credits are real. They verify that the carbon credits are not reused. They verify that there's no bad actors going and doing weird things with the prices and stuff like that. So that is something that for sure, as this infrastructure gets built out for this carbon market, that has to be, you know, somewhat structured. So the acceleration of growth has to happen in 7 years, you know, because we're coming on 2023, and by 2030, most of these companies want to at least be able to call themselves carbon neutral, even if that doesn't actually mean that they're removing carbon from the air. You know, at least it means that they're conscious about what's going on. So definitely, you know, Nori is dope in that way. Dovu, a carbon marketplace, is working directly with farmers to verify and do the same thing, sell their carbon. What I like about Dovu is there are other projects who are actually using Dovu right now, such as ClimaDAO. So, and Dovu's market cap is very undervalued. Now, they're talking about the carbon market is going to be, you know, they say what, like $10 billion by 2030 or something. Might be way more than that, because there's going to be people and projects like Clima who want to just make these credits more scarce. That's what Clima wants to do. They want to make it so you can't get your hands on it. And as a citizens, that's what we want to do. We want to make it so these companies can't get their hands on the carbon credits, driving the price higher. Now, there's a bunch of things going on with this market, such as how long you have the credits. It's a whole nother thing to get into, just like cryptocurrency is, but don't worry, I will be keeping you guys updated on all of that. So until then, keep an eye, and I'm already DCA into, you know, Dovu, and I'm looking at still getting into the NRI token. So if you want to take a look at that token, you'll be getting in, you know, even before me. So, and these are things that I think are going to be excellent, valuable resources. They already have partnerships with farmers. They already have partnerships with companies. They already have, you know, they're already selling and moving. Dovu's marketplace sold out. They're on the end of trying to find more supply. They need more carbon credits. You know, you can already see right now there's a scarcity of carbon, of these credits available right now. So people are looking for it. You know what I'm saying? It's already happening now. So this is going to be the earliest of getting into a new entire market. So subscribe to the channel I'll be bringing you guys more information on this subject. There's not a lot of legit information on this subject out there. You got to really dig for it. And so subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the things that I mentioned in this video, and I'll help you out and get back to you on that. Don't forget to check out those two tokens, Nori and Dovu. But before you even go and try to buy those tokens, just take a look at this carbon credit market. See if you're with the whole thing. It's actually pretty controversial. So yeah, like the video. RIP to crypto roots. Y'all think positive and positive things will happen. Till next time, peace.